Welcome to Real Flix Reviews. We're like a book club for people who hate reading. This week was our theater pick, so we picked Suicide Squad, made in 2016, Zoo Episode 1, and we bring you movie news. This week I have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, and Ryan Preston. It's with a saddened heart that we have to announce that our favorite comedic actor, Gene Wilder, passed away today. And I'm going to hand this over to James because I know he had a little bit to say.
So, Gene Wilder, I would say, isn't my all-time favorite comedic actor, but if he is not on the top 10 list of any comedy
I would say
top 10 list, you are failing miserably.
I would say accumulatively, he's definitely, I'd say one of the show's favorites.
But I would put this out there. I think Gene Wilder was probably the best stiff shirt comedic actor of all time. He played a very stiff role in some of his portrays of a character, but he was hilarious at doing it. And that's what I think is where Gene Wilder shined his best, i.e. if you look at Young Frankenstein, even if you see his role in Blazing Saddles as Jim, Stir Crazy, Hear No Evil, See No Evil, Hear No Evil. There's a long list of a lot of great Gene Wilder films out there. Even Willy Wonka, at times he played kind of a stiff shirt in there, but he was still funny in the way he did it. And amazingly, he only has 37 acting roles. But his career is one that I think is just so memorable.
See, I didn't realize he did that few, but I would say, comedy-wise, I'd say he's legendary.
Yes.
I haven't seen too many people have done that few movies.
What I was going to kind of bring up is I mean, at 83, I think he was,
83.
Right? Yeah, at 83, I mean, he already kind of won at life anyway, but he definitely lived long enough to see himself become, the legend that everyone thought he was.
Yeah, what he said.
I mean, and it wasn't even from his, stuff with Mel Brooks. I mean, the stuff that he did with Richard Pryor.
Yes.
Those are actually my favorites.
And things like that. And it was just, you never saw him in something that you weren't just absolutely, loving that he was in.
I would say, the stuff he did with Pryor were probably my all-time favorite because those two together, were absolutely amazing.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is,
I mean, and actually, one of the best comedy duos ever that nobody ever talks about.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's quoted as saying that he loved the show but hated the business, and I think that really shows what his career was about. Is he liked to be out there playing a role, playing a character, and making it one that you are going to love.
Exactly.
But you could always tell.
It seemed like he was almost too sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's unfortunate to say goodbye to him. I was really hoping that Gene Wilder and Mel Brooks would get together and put something out before this happened. It's unfortunate that we don't get more joy out of his life.
So from everybody at Real Flix Reviews, from myself, James, Ryan, the old guy, and our phone-a-friend, our condolences.
Yeah.
And with that being said, we're going to have to kick off the show. So here's the description of Suicide Squad 2016. Fearing that the world is vulnerable to otherworldly threat, the government enlists disposable Task Force X on a high-risk mission to exchange for absolution, meaning the Joker. Meanwhile, the Joker operates his own agenda. You get the point. I kind of got the description.
Yeah. Well, right.
The first thing I gotta say is, what was his name? Flag?
Yes.
He's more useless than Captain Keyes in Halo.
I actually have that written down. The Captain Keyes flagged. The way that we used to do, surround and hold him back. Yeah, John and I both wrote the same thing. If you guys didn't play Halo, you might not know who Captain Keyes is, but he's a useless character that you have to protect. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much what we both looked at as Flag, is he was a useless character that they had to keep alive.
And Will Smith's character even said that, to Harley Quinn. It's like, if he dies, we dies. And you see her go,
Yeah. Now, I enjoyed the hell out of the soundtrack.
Yes. That was actually going to make the soundtrack was one of the best parts of this movie.
I'm not going to... I do have something I want to address that was a big issue for me in it. But what I'm going to start with is the fact that I enjoy Will Smith playing this type of character.
Yes.
I think this is a very good character that he plays really well. I think it was the maturity of him as an actor to come out of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air into a role like this. He's played it a few times in other films. We don't need to go there. But I think he does a great role with this type of character.
I was a little worried about this because the last couple of years I thought Will Smith had just kind of gone downhill as an actor.
I think he tried to salvage somebody's career he didn't need to.
But no, I thought this was a perfect role. I don't really see much acting in this role for Will Smith because, like James says, this is kind of his stock role a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think he just makes it look too easy when it comes to that. There was no way that I was going to be worried about Will Smith doing this. I mean, he was doing Bad Boys while he was still doing Fresh Prince.
Yeah,
the guy's been a badass forever.
Yeah.
Okay. He's the only thing that kind of brings any credibility to this movie. That and Margot Robbie.
Yes.
Margot Robbie, this being sort of the first time we've seen Harley Quinn live action,
Yes.
Whereas we've seen Batman 1,000 times,
And
was
Joker.
kind of interesting. I thought that she did the character like justice,
Yeah.
The rest of the movie, correct me if I'm wrong or tell me if you disagree, felt kind of like a high school party. You know what I mean? Like I'll explain.
Yeah.
Like, kids
I
who
can
don't
see
really
that.
know how to party good yet, but still kind of just get by on pure energy.
Yeah.
This on the and it also had on the verge in a few scenes kind of reminded me of like a 90s teen movie.
Yeah. I want to throw out one more character before we get into the things that we don't like.
Wait, what was that, Ryan?
I said the color scheme definitely reminded me of the 90s.
Yeah.
Day-glow,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. I want to throw out Viola Davis. I think she did a great job as Amanda Waller.
I would say she's the standout character because this is
Yeah.
a character who you haven't really seen live action, and she's almost a 1-to-1 of the
Yeah.
the cartoon version.
I think she nailed it. I really do.
Matter of fact, I
And you know,
like
that's kind of interesting that they went with that character too, don't you think?
Yeah, I love the fact they did it because it showed how vicious the character was when she killed everybody in that
Yeah.
one tower scene.
Yeah.
I was really impressed, and I really started to hate her, and she was spot on.
Oh, no, I loved the character. I thought, I mean, it's not a character that you're supposed to love, but I think the way that she played the role, I loved it. I think
I meant I hated the character, so
Yeah,
it was
very
this
well
one I knew
done.
was spot on.
I always thought that she was that hardcore, and that's what the character was, you know. But I think Ryan is right on about everyone else. Kind of like you're watching the what was that stupid Sky High?
I don't think it was that bad.
Well, I'm not saying it's that bad, but you get what I mean by it. You know, where they're all kind of feeling it out, trying to come back and vindicate themselves. I thought Boomerang was actually not too bad.
I thought that's like out of all the characters, really, Captain Boomerang.
Yeah.
You're getting a B-list bad guy from the Flash. That was kind of like, seriously, would they dig that guy up?
Yeah.
I did kind of like Jared Leto's version of the Joker. I thought it was Nicholson-esque, remotely kind of like the Killing Joke. I thought. I thought.
Okay, hold on, Ryan. Before you jump into this, I think I got this one. Hold on. So my issue with Jared Leto's version of the Joker was it was a 1930s gangster, got a gun, I'm gonna shoot ya guy, mixed with a couple other Jokers all thrown into this really bad mix that came out as shit.
See, I disagree.
Well, okay, mixed with no jokes whatsoever.
Yeah.
There was nothing amusing, not even to himself. And that's the thing about the Joker is even if you don't think he's funny, he thinks he's funny.
See, I thought he played it off like Nicholson's Joker, which I always thought was the worst one.
No,
Well-
you're out of your effing mind.
Well, I would say in the scheme of live action Jokers, Nicholson's was probably one of the worst ones, but the thing that you got to look at is Nicholson's source material was the 1960s Batman.
They had the Killing Joke and all that then,
They
too.
did, but do you think he actually read it?
No.
Okay, so going back to my point,
I don't think he ever watched the series.
he probably didn't either. But you're mixing. But that's what I see Leto kind of doing is he took like a 1930s mafia bad guy. That's the the with the really bad accent of I'm gonna get you sucker type thing, and then try to intermix it with the 90s version that Heath Ledger did of Joker and failed. I think he was trying to go for a sadistic Joker, which Joker is sadistic and twisted, but I think he really overplayed it.
Okay, I think the Joker character definitely suffered from his lack of story in this movie.
Yes.
That was part of the problem I actually had.
Leto, I mean, made some weird ass choices as Joker, and I can't believe the director would let him do half the shit.
Well, part of the I think part of the problem with this movie is they did a couple of edits of this movie, so I think that's one of the reasons he fell so flat on some of it was because there's a lot that I think they missed. It just seems like
there's a lot that they cut out of Joker for sure,
and I think that's one of the reasons why he came off so flat in a lot of areas, because I think the swan song for the character was completely cut out.
Okay.
Well, I think that there was no Joker in this movie. There was just some guy in clown makeup shooting a machine gun.
Yeah, I'm still kind of halfway to the point that I think they need to play this off like it was in Harley's imagination.
No, see, I think that's the Joker they were going for, though. In this universe of being a more serious universe, they couldn't have gone with the Heath Ledger version, so they had to...
Yeah, they could have. I don't think they really could have.
I don't think they could have, because the problem is he's already going to get compared to Heath Ledger, so I think if he did that, he'd get compared to it even more.
Well, I tried not to do it, but when he comes off with a bad gangster Joker, I don't think he's going to compare. I mean, I liked the scene where they had the gambling guy.
Yeah.
I liked that. I thought that was a really well done scene. But the scene where Harley's dancing and then he's dealing with the gangster black guy, I mean, there was so disconjointed there. I mean, and that was just horrible.
I do have to give it to you. The bad Cagney impression was a tad bit annoying.
Yeah, that was the worst thing. That was the thing that really bugged me. I
did like this version of Joker. I thought it was a little bit on the Killing Joke on the end part, where at least he was a little bit more reasonable. I do think they didn't show him as sadistic as he really is. That is the one thing. This is like Joker light. No.
Well, look, it wasn't light in terms of his sensibility to kill people or anything like that. I mean, that was kind of there.
It's missing
or his sensibility to be like the crime boss or anything, but he just did not have any of the characteristics. He was just a gangster.
Yeah,
I
agree with Ryan there.
And if you're bringing out all these comic book characters and animated characters like Harley Quinn, or Harley Quinn rather, and Deadshot and all this shit, you went way a weird direction with the Joker in this one.
I agree. I agree with you there that
and nowhere near Killing Joke.
Yeah, they went too far with the Joker. I think you're right in the sense that they try to take. I think what the issue is, they took one of Joker's, I wouldn't say personalities, but one of his
aspects,
mental quirks, too far. They didn't balance it with the humor or the twisted sense of, I would say the twisted sense of humor, they didn't really show at all.
With that being said, we're coming up close to the end of the segment. I do want to talk a little bit about the other heroes in this movie. Deadshot was probably my favorite. Who's the flame guy?
Diablo?
That was not a character I was actually familiar with.
Yeah, he's in there. He is in there. I don't know that much about him.
So I liked Killer Croc. I love the witch. Everybody I thought did really
Enchantress,
well.
Yeah, that was a good choice to go with her.
The way they did the effects and the switchover was really creepy, and I was like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
I was actually sad to see that character go because I was
Yeah,
thinking,
oh,
man,
yeah.
that's a character you could have a lot of fun with.
Which one? I'm sorry.
The Enchantress.
Oh, the Enchantress.
Because
yes.
when they made her disappear at the end, I'm like, man, I hope she sticks around because that's such a great character.
Yeah.
Well, the idea of going into kind of all of these types of sort of supernatural things is a great avenue to go down. Stuff we've seen a lot of in the comic books, but obviously none ever in live action.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool to see all the cool characters. Killer Croc, that was badass seeing that live action.
No,
I thought they did a great job on the effects on that.
was that makeup or was that CG?
I don't know. I didn't look into it.
And
didn't look into it
I do
either.
gotta say, I wanted to give this movie a higher rating. Like I walked in going, this is gonna be this type of movie. I mean, I liked the Joker in the movie. Overall, it was entertaining, but it's a 3.
Yeah.
I could not get it any higher, just because the choices. I was hoping for a dark, very in depth, very evil Joker, not kind of Joker light. And honestly, they didn't even need him in the freaking movie.
No.
The way they cut it. And so to me, it's a 3 out of 5. I could almost go to a 2.5 out of 5, but I'll stick with a 3 just because of the entertainment factor and some of the effects.
I'd go with you on the 3 because, like you said, as far as I'm concerned, the Joker was, as you said, a moot point on the film. It really didn't add much to it, and I don't think even if we just kind of ignore it and pretend it never happened, that it would detract anything from it.
I thought they were going to have the way I thought they did it is like, oh, this is icing on the cake. This is the cherry on the sundae.
I would have liked it to be the cherry, but it
was
kind of seems like it's the leftover melted ice cream at the bottom.
As much as I hate to say it, I do kind of agree.
So, yeah,
Ryan?
3 out of 5.
The highest I can possibly do is a 2.5, man. I mean, and that's for Margot Robbie and Will Smith and the soundtrack.
Yeah, that's the only reason why it's getting a 3.
The story was way too disjointed. Yeah, it definitely didn't track. It was kind of fun, it had some fun moments and stuff like that, but definitely can't call this a good movie.
No, I think for me the fun factor kicked in a little bit. Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn was probably the most redeeming factor in this movie because she's a character I've always wanted to see, and she did justice to it as being a sex icon, but being also a badass character. Something I think in most directors is really hard to balance.
Yeah.
Because they just want boobs instead of an actual sadistic character like she is.
Well,
Yeah.
They definitely went with the as scantily clad of costume as you can possibly imagine for her character. That being said, I think her performance kind of rose above her costume.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that heart, definitely. That
Yeah.
being said, we're going to switch off to Zoo, episode 1. And
James asshole for picking this
and
show.
more or less, to give you a rough synopsis, this is animals run amok versus humanity.
I was thinking after I picked it that I should have cherry-picked the episode instead of doing the pilot, honestly.
You think?
No, the whole premise for this show is insane. I have so much wrong with this show specifically.
I want to hear Ryan. Go.
Okay.
Ryan, go.
Okay. For one, you're an African safari guide. Okay, you pull up to some high brush where presumably an attack happened. You just get out and walk through the high brush. You're a guide in Africa. You don't pull the car right up to the side of the car.
Yeah,
that
was always my issue.
rifles. How do you think lions hunt? The lions, for whatever way they're planning on explaining this, is insane.
Yeah.
The idea that it's like they're trying to say like they evolved 100 million years in 3 days. That's the way I'm kind of like seeing them trying to explain this. But also on different sides of the globe, they're just like The Happening is going on with lions now. What the shit is this about?
I like that.
I-
That was a
And
good.
what
good
guy doesn't have a
comparison.
pistol? You have just a bolt action rifle. That's your protection.
No,
Dumbass.
right? That was my first thought. It's like, you don't have anything else?
And I have like the 500 Smith and Wesson You know?
I have to say, my favorite scene was the James Brown scene. That's it. That's the thing that made me laugh. It's like, because I'm imagining some guy in the middle of the bush hearing James Brown going, "What the hell?"
And not to mention that money that guy paid for
Oh,
was,
yeah.
was probably to kill an older male who was probably killing off all the younger viable males, and
Yeah.
that money's going towards conservation. It's a complicated issue, people.
You're talking about the rhino, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just clarifying.
A good thing you clarified that, right?
Run,
Jeez.
old man, run.
Jeez. So, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to let you know we do have a Facebook page. You love us, hate us, let us know. Also, if there's a movie you want us to do, please let us know. And we also do have a podcast. So you can catch us on Podbean, Stitcher, iTunes, and more. And we're going to
If you've
switch.
listened this far, you know we have a podcast.
This is true, but I need something to fill the ad space, jackass.
He gets paid a lot for it.
Yeah, right. So anybody have any movie news as I bring up?
You know, there's just, I mean, Hollywood, you're a piece of crap. I'm just putting that out there.
Wow.
I mean, I don't want to talk about that you're doing remakes again. I'm sick of it.
Oh,
It's
I
like
do.
letting the government educate our kids. You know
Right?
what I mean?
Come on, you're doing
People at
Common
the top
Core
have
with
no
movies.
idea.
I do have one that everybody's waiting to happen. Everybody's favorite 90s football film is now getting a TV show reboot. Varsity Blues is coming back, ladies and gentlemen, thanks to the wonderful folks at CMT for some damn reason.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Varsity Blues is getting a TV reboot.
See, this is like, yeah, again, the people at the top just have no idea what they're doing. They're just like, oh, this is what these monkeys like.
Yeah. I don't even.
I'm with you on that.
I mean, really, all I look at when I see movie news is they're remaking this, or they're gonna be booting a new superhero film. I'm sick of talking about it.
Well, it's just
Well,
like,
yeah, seriously, everything's got to be a franchise, and
Yeah.
everything's got to be like the long game of the money. Like, oh, we're gonna make one of these every 10 years, you know.
I mean, I want
See, I'm
Rob
glad you're
Zombie's
doing
31 to
stuff
come
like
out.
Westworld. That's a movie that needs to be remade.
what Westworld?
Yeah,
is-
that's a good idea.
it
You know
is
what I mean?
being-
It's an
it-
obscure thing from back in the day that not a lot of people know, but it's a great idea.
It
Yeah.
is. I see,
Remake that shit.
it actually
Varsity
is
fucking
being
Blues.
remade. I thought.
I know. That's why I brought it up.
The other talk about useless superhero that you don't want to hear about, DC's The Flash movie will feature Cyborg, which is actually something I'm mildly interested in how they introduce the backstory on this character. The trailer to the new DC movie kind of shows it a little bit in the Justice League.
Backstory kind of wrote itself when they did it. I mean, it's the perfect backstory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and especially when they show that Darkseid was in Batman's dream or whatever you call it. So it should be interesting in how they introduce it.
Well, and then they're bringing
Well,
in
and-
Deathstroke
yeah.
as a Batman villain.
And do you guys like Jack Ryan? He was in the
Yeah, most of the things I'm kind of mildly entertained by.
Yeah.
well, Jack Ryan, for example,
Yeah.
was Hunt for the Red October.
Yeah.
You had Ben Affleck played him, and I don't remember which one it was.
Patriot Games, Some
Yeah.
of All Fears. Yeah.
And so
There was a couple of them.
Amazon greenlights Jack Ryan series with John Krasinski as Tom Clancy's CIA analyst.
John Krasinski.
It's Krasinski.
I don't recognize him.
Not the Modern Family.
Yeah, I think he might
I don't
be.
recognize the guy, but I don't watch a lot of television.
Oh wait, never mind.
And another
The
interesting one.
Office.
Oh,
Yeah, The
yes.
Office.
Another interesting one, Mr. Robot's a TV series we did sometime this year, is getting a season 3.
Well, I still haven't
Oh.
watched season 2 yet. I've got to
haven't
kind of
watched season
pick it up
2
and
either.
ready to go.
I'm
But man, I love season 1.
I'm really interested to see where it goes. I have to watch more of season 1. It's one of these things I actually forgot about, but it was really amazed.
Well, the reason I'm waiting on season 2 is because of the ending of season 1. I mean, I know that after that episode 1, I was going to be fiending for number 2.
So when I was in the theaters, I saw a poster for a live-action Disney's Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, I have seen things on that. They did this a few times.
I
This
don't.
has been
Yeah,
done
I
at
think
least
mostly
twice.
as a TV show, right?
Well, with Ron Perlman and
Oh, right.
and the chick from the Terminator 2, I can never remember her name. Linda, no, something like that. I does the world really need another movie? I mean, this is the first time I think that I can remember that this is going to be like basically a Disney live action version of their cartoon, like they did with a Jungle
Well,
Book.
If I remember hearing correctly, I think they might be doing a live action Little Mermaid, which I'm fascinated on how they plan on filming that.
Under the Sea.
I mean, that's my point. Is, I mean, are they just gonna have, like take a breath and then do the scene?
Yeah.
Quick come back to take a breath out of the oxygen tank. I mean, how do you do that?
This is probably honestly, I bet they're going to do it CGI, and it's all going to be like wires. You know, you're going to have a bunch of
How do you
characters.
get the hair floating around. I mean, it's gonna be insane. It's gonna be like a cartoon if that's the case.
Yeah.
It'll be like Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow, except all you see here is her face.
I keep
Being
saying
an
they need to
Extraordinary
do a
Man.
live action Aladdin. That's a movie, like a good 40
Or
Thieves
Being an
movie. You know what I mean?
Gentleman? What is that crappy ass movie? I'm pulling that up.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I mean, seriously, this is what I feel like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I was right.
So, since I wanted to bring this up, just because this made me laugh probably harder than it should have, and it was an article titled "Why Suicide Squad is the Spiritual Sequel to Batman and Robin."
I mean, kind of, right? With the
Wait a
Dayglow.
minute.
I mean, it was really kind of channeling some Joel
Hold on.
Schumacher shit.
Hold on. Wait a minute. He just brought up a fantastic point. Jared Leto is the Jim Carrey version of the Riddler doing the
Yeah,
Joker.
kinda.
Dude, mind blown.
Mind blown.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, why didn't I think of that earlier?
Because when I saw that, it made me laugh because I was like, "That's totally." Even after I saw the movie, I'm like, "Oh, this is dead on. This really is like Joel Schumacher Part 2." You know,
Yeah, and you know, the only thing I gotta say is thank you, Benny Affleck, for doing this, right?
it's all your fault.
Yeah, I blame you.
Um,
You're like
It's
nipples
not
on
his
the...
fault. Matter of fact, his little part in like the intro of the movie, I'm like, why? Let's watch this movie.
No,
Screw the
no,
rest of this shit going on.
He's as great as nipples on a bat suit. That's how
I mean,
useful
come on.
he is. I just said that.
I didn't know plastic rubber could get cold. So I
called
keep seeing
pleather.
I keep seeing new stuff on the new MacGyver reboot, and I'm personally a big fan of the '80s MacGyver.
He's the one that picked the show. Blame him.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? I'm thinking it's going to be like the new Knight Rider when it came out. I think it's going to be half a season, if best, maybe a
The thing
full
about,
season.
MacGyver is that shit can be updated, and pretty easily, and the gimmick still kind of works,
See,
But
see-
people know a little more. I mean, however many seasons of MythBusters, people are going to be really up that show's ass, so they're going to have to, get pretty clever. But I think people will dig clever for a couple of seasons with that.
See, I'm thinking partially is that it was something that was very 80s. I don't know if it can be rebooted. The only issue the only issue they're gonna have is if they're gonna do it, base it off the 80s MacGyver. There was no continuum when it came to the story. They changed the story depending on which way the wind blew. I think he had multiple origin stories.
But anything that sort of takes place in like the maybe 85 and before has sort of an advantage with detective stories and things like that, because it wasn't, the information wasn't as readily available, and it was more interesting to move the story along than some guy just Googling shit.
True. I'm really
Sherlock Holmes, or Sherlock rather, BBC did it in a pretty clever way. But the making stuff, MacGyver, maybe it might be a 80s show or something like that take place.
I'm really looking forward to it just because it really is one of my favorite characters. But I'm not quite sure how good this is going to be. I'm definitely going to give it the benefit of a doubt. But I have a feeling it's going to fail hard and fail fast. Not as fast as Knight Rider, mind you, because that movie just sunk. And so this is going to be my theater pick. And because of Gene Wilder, I actually changed which movie I'm going to do. And it's his, was it Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Yeah.
1971.
Yeah.
In honor of him. Oh, that was 1971.
Yeah.
So we're doing that one. And the TV show I'm gonna pick is Arrow Episode 1.
Okay.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, I gave Suicide Squad 3 out of 5. James gave it a 3 out of 5. Ryan gave it a deserving 2.5 out of 5. We're doing Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, along with Arrow Season 1, Episode 1. And as always, see you next week.
Goodbye.